Hello, 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 all of you wonderful people, and welcome to Sunny's World, Sunny's World, Sunny's World, Sunny's World. Hey! So, as you can see, I don't have a voice. I'm straining hard to talk to y'all tonight, but it's unfortunate, but your girl got binary pneumonia. I know I'm making it light, but I do. I really have binary pneumonia, which means I have pneumonia in both of my lungs. It can be deadly. So I have been down for the last 3 weeks, and I'm trying to, get better. I've been doped up on antibiotics and painkillers and muscle relaxers and steroids and all of the above, but I'm okay. So all of you guys that have been worried about me, I haven't been answering no phone calls. I do apologize. I just been going through it, and now that I'm finally kind of getting better. It's like my voice went away. I don't know what's that all about, but whatever. So I just wanted to come up here because I promised you guys that on my dad's birthday, which is August the 20th, that I would do my first vlog, videography, journal, whatever you want to call it, podcast, I don't know. But I promised to do it, so I did it. Because like I told you before, one of the main things that I'm trying to do, not trying to do, what I am doing and will continue to do is make success principles in regular conversation. We talk about a lot of bullshit every day. It doesn't matter. It doesn't help us with anything. So why not make something that would actually help you, like the success principles, everyday conversation. So I'm going to try my best to make every single situations a message for those success principles. So the one that has just would not let me sleep, even though I've been doped up on muscle relaxers and hydrocodone and all these antibiotics and steroids and all this kind of stuff. I've still been thinking about being successful at YouTube. And as a leader, I always show up for everybody. And this success principle, it never leaves me. No matter what I'm going through, no matter how bad I feel. Fortunately, I can do this little bit in my house, feeling comfortable, letting all my lusciousness hang out, because guess what? I'm in my own house, and this is my business, and it's Sunny's world, okay? Even got on my Rastafari colors for my daddy. Even got my blood for my daddy. Because anybody they know my daddy, Frank Henry Carter Jr. from Marcy Projects. Well, he was actually from Berkeley, Virginia, but he lived in Marcy Projects. Majority of my life, I can honestly say, I don't know exactly how many years, but anybody from Marcy knows my dad and knows that he's been living up there since the 70s. And he was the original dread that lived in Marcy Projects. So if anybody lived in Marcy Projects, you know exactly who my father was. So tell me I'm lying about anything I say about my dad. You probably have even more stories that I don't even know about. And that's what's so freaking awesome. Even in your parents' transition or passing, you continue to get to know them through the stories and the memories of other people. And I was so blessed to have that same experience with my dad. But one thing that I loved about hanging out with my family and my friends and everybody after my dad's memorial, because my daddy was very clear when he was alive. He didn't want a funeral. He didn't want to be in a casket. He wanted to be, what you call it? It's crazy because my daddy's right here. And I can't even think of the word of what he is. What? I know you might think I'm crazy. Because I had my dad cremated. That's what I'm trying to say. This is my daddy right here. And sometimes I just be needing him near me. I don't know, it's weird. You may think I'm fucking crazy. I don't really care. This is Sunny's world, okay? Sunny's world, okay? All right, back to the story. Anyway, no, seriously though. So, I don't know. It's just a weird thing. Like, the way I got my dad's ashes was not intentional. My uncle was going to take my dad's ashes and sprinkle them near my grandmother, which is his mother's ashes, in a cemetery here in Virginia. Unfortunately, my uncle lives in New York. And right after my dad passed, which was September 2019, a few months later, my uncle became very sick, had cancer. God willing, he fought through all that. He actually had COVID after cancer. Thank God he's still here. And then COVID started. The world shut down. No one could travel. So I still have his ashes. Still waiting for my uncle to come down so we can go to the cemetery and put his ashes where he wanted them to fulfill his words when he was alive. But it's just interesting because ever since I've had him, I actually talked to him. Before my dad died, years before my dad died, we didn't really talk because, shit happens between family members. People get mad, cut you off, take you for granted. Sometimes it's just too late to reconcile relationships, but that doesn't take away from the relationship you've had your full life. I've known my dad my whole life. I never had to question who my dad was, not even for a second. So sometimes when I'm going through stuff, or when I'm feeling afraid, or when I want to take the energy from my dad, or if I'm going through something, I want to think about what will my dad say, or how would my dad feel, or whatever. I don't know. Sometimes I take out his ashes and put them on my desk with me. It makes me feel close to him. I love my daddy. Even in his death. Like now, I don't really want to get rid of his ashes. I want to get a nice urn and just put it on my house and display. But for now, he right by my side. I'm gonna take him out of sight because I don't want to be weird the whole video. But I don't know if anybody else does that, or had their parents or someone close to them pass away, and for whatever reason, their ashes are comforting. I have my mom's ashes too. Sometimes I need my parents. I mean, I might be crazy, but that's how I'm dealing with it right now. Whenever I get so upset and words can no longer come out of my mouth and I'm just overwhelmed, I literally get their ashes and put them on my desk and just start talking to them. And for whatever reason, or however God does it, things that they would say or stuff that goes on, it starts coming to my mind. Or sometimes I cry, sometimes I don't, sometimes I laugh. It just kind of depends on what I'm thinking about. But anyway, my dad was just an awesome guy. And even in his death, he's impossible. When I say impossible to forget. Anybody knows my dad, he would never forget my dad. Like, for example, my dad was one of these guys that really took complicated information and broke it down very simple stuff that you would never, ever forget. Okay? Remind you, remember, I said never, ever forget, okay? For example, I remember at my dad's memorial. And my niece, Ivory, she put together his memorial. It was very beautiful. She did a really good job. I'm very proud of her because in the last year or so of my dad's life, she was right there. She was there for him. She took him to all his appointments and, made sure he had groceries and just whatever he needed. You know what I mean? So shout out to her, even though she ain't speaking to me. But shout out to her anyway, because I appreciate it, because that was my dad. And you didn't have to do that. And, we just talking, friends, family, joking around, thinking about memories of my dad, going in. So the one thing that everybody kept bringing up, and one thing that I always remembered about my dad, and I think about all the time, is the wire brush. And you're like, what? Wire brush? What is that? So, like I said, my dad was freaking interesting. He's like a character like me. You'll realize down the road, I'm a freaking character. Like right now, I'm not high energy like I can be, just because I'm kind of feeling down, but I'm okay. I'm giving you all I got, okay? So, anyway. So my dad was the type of guy that would teach you a lesson in a way that you would never forget. So, like the lesson with the wire brush. For example, the whole point of the lesson with the wire brush, excuse me, it was a very simple concept. It was like the definition of insanity. Do something over and over and over again and expect different results. Why do something over and over again when you know what's going to happen? You have to change it up. If you do the same thing, after a while, you're just fucking stupid. And that's exactly what he would say. You're fucking stupid. You already know. And then you'd be like, but daddy, this happened and that happened and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. He would look at you. But my dad was like a freaking comedian, like a sarcastic ass motherfucker, but you remember what he said. He would say some shit like, so, you like the wire brush? You'd be like, huh? He'd be like, so you like the wire brush? I'm sure when shit's stabbing your ass, you keep putting that wire brush in your ass, I'm sure it's bleeding, it's leaking, there's shit coming out of it. Those little particles, they all stuck in your asshole. You can't shit for days or weeks and you can't sit down. And oh, you're a weirdo. You like that wire brush? You'd be like, huh? I don't like wire brushes. I never, what? My butt, the particles, what? It's bleeding? He'd be like, you're fucking weird. What kind of shit you into? You like that shit? He'd just walk off, go about his business. And you'd be stuck there what? Of course, when you're a child, you have no freaking clue what your parents are talking about. They be dropping knowledge, wisdom, jewels, diamonds, everything on you. You have no freaking clue. Because you don't ever understand it until you go through something. That's when the wisdom, that's why they say knowledge is power, but it ain't shit. The power is in the wisdom. You actually listen and you take the lesson. Because I can give you the information, but you don't understand it until you go through it. Then the wisdom, the wisdom comes along. My dad used to be like that. But anyway, so, he just used to have this wire brush that whenever life got serious or some shit happened, trust me, I thought about that wire brush. And trust me, I was pretty hypnotized by a lot of shit. A lot of times. But my daddy just had this way of instilling things in me that always came to the surface in my darkest hours. I mean, I was even married. And in my darkest hour, I was like, the wire brush. I must go. So serious. When my mom passed away, the person I thought I loved more than life itself totally abandoned me. I was so freaking upset. And I think it was because I was just upset because my mom passed away. But as soon as my mom passed away, I was like, ha ha! The wire brush. And that was over. I was over that. Somebody totaled my car. I was asleep. My car was parked. Somebody totaled it. So pissed off. Then I was like, ha ha! The wire brush. Why you getting mad about shit you can't control? I just bought another car. Just bought another car cash. I got money. Ha ha! No one cares. That's what my dad would say too all the time. No one cares. You're weird. No one cares. So, I just want to say thank you, Daddy, for making me your only baby girl. I love you. I miss you. There'll never be anyone to replace you unless it's one of your offsprings. They're going to definitely have to have some Carter blood to have the dynamic of you. I want to give a shout out to my nephew Eli Carter and Miss Sabre Carter. There's not a lot of Carters out there, but the ones that are out there, they're freaking phenomenally built. They are so freaking talented, and they came from my daddy. So, a shout out to my brother, Sekou, Kenny, Frankie, all of them are Carters. And definitely gotta give he may not be a Carter, but I promise you, he probably know my daddy better than me, act more like my daddy than me, or any of my siblings. My brother Bruce, that's my dude. I love that dude. He always got my back, no matter what. He always know what to say. He just know me. Like, it really feel good. Like, he ain't even, as far as I'm concerned, he my brother. Let's get this clear. Because again, my daddy, he ain't play that step shit, half shit, blah, blah, blah shit. That's my brother. As long as I remember life, that has been my brother. But he actually lived in the household with my dad his whole life. I didn't. I lived in Virginia, and my dad lived in New York. But when I tell you I love my brother Bruce, that is my dude. Like, I look up to him so much. I love him so much that I actually get jealous of him. Not of him, but, like, he gotta give me my sister time. Because that's my bro. Like, yo, you gonna see him on the podcast. Trust me. You gonna understand when you get him on podcast. Like, literally, we probably won't talk a lot. We'll probably freaking laugh 80% of the time. I'm just gonna let you know. But anyway, and then I do want to shout out again my nephew Eli and my niece Sabra, because both of them take after my daddy with being great artists. They can draw. So that's one thing that my daddy has passed down from generation to generation. That's a Carter thing. My daddy used to be a ghost cartoonist for the New York Times. So my daddy can draw cartoons like he could draw cartoons like you could never believe. He could draw anything. My brother can draw like I can draw too. I can't draw as well as my dad. Well, I'm not gonna say I can't. Well, no, I can't draw as well as my dad. I'm not gonna even fool myself. I can't even draw as good as my brother. I can't even draw as good as my niece. And she's 14 now. But she's been drawing flies since she was like 3. I knew she was going to be special. I knew she took on the Carter trick since she was like 3 years old. So, whatever. But anyway, it's just so many great things that my dad passed down. My dad had dreads down to his butt. So he taught us to be comfortable in our natural, ethnic, black, African, strong self. No matter what, you are black, you are strong, you are proud. Know your history. Learn the 1%. Because everybody know the 99%. That's the bullshit on the news. No one cares. Don't give a fuck about what other people think. Be comfortable with who you are. And if you don't like who you are, change it. But don't let nobody else make you change. Change for you. Live a good life. Don't hold on to all your possessions and have nothing but a whole bunch of stuff when you die and had no life. Live your life like nobody's watching. Dance like nobody's watching and nobody cares. Sing like you're the best singer in the world, knowing you cracking every tune. Like Sunny's World, Sunny's World. I know I can't sing. I don't care. Because it's my world. I feel comfortable with me. That's why all my friends, they love each other and they love me. Because the only people that I officially put in my circle are people that are 100% comfortable with themselves. So, thank you guys for taking the time out to listen to a frog on my daddy's birthday, to honor him and realize how much I am like my dad and how much I'm going to honor him and smoke a spliff for my dad. Be natural and comfortable in my naturalness for my dad. He may not agree with this outfit. I will agree. But at the end of the day, he would be like, well, shit, if you like it, I love it. And I love y'all. Thank you so much. Like, share, subscribe. Just support the journey. Trust me, it gets better. Look at all this personality. Can you just imagine what I have next? Stay tuned. Love you guys.